Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.
It's amazing. I never seen anyone speak for so long. That's amazing. Yeah. And thank you for allowing me to speak in here.
Sure.
I never been on Danish radio, so it's quite. I'm nervous.
Yeah, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. It's only me. Well, you are actually trying to make a climate push into these discussions and debates around, and the only thing you hear in the Danish politics is about integration. That's your point. What are your points here?
I mean, look, even yesterday I've been to this Raison debates, and there was supposed to be a debate about presenting new political parties on the Danish scene. And they were supposed to present all their program, like to see, okay, what are you standing for, why should we support you, what do you bring new into Danish politics? But somehow in the middle of it, not even in the middle, like after 15 minutes into the debate until the most very end, the debate completely switched off on the immigration debate, especially on the burqa debate, actually. That one was very specific on the burqa debate. Like they were talking with the New Borrelia, with Feministiske Initiative and Vote Denmark, and they were talking about burqa ban. They were talking about something that they couldn't even have an influence on because they're not even in the parliament. So I never understood why they focused so much on that. I mean, I never understood why Clement focused so much on that. And that was not the only time. I've been to other debates around, and it seems to be this trend. Either they speak from the very beginning about these things, like they clearly state, we are talking about this, or they have a general debate that somehow turns into that direction. And I'm a bit concerned because I mean, I'm looking at Britain, I'm looking at the UK, and they're not really progressing anyway. They're focusing so much on Brexit that they completely forget about everything else that happens in that country. Like, the infrastructure is just going down in UK, and they just don't have time to debate it because they have so much time to spend. Because as a politician, you have a limited amount of time that you can spend on discussing politics, right? Yeah. So if you're going to focus a lot of energy on something, you're going to be too tired, or you're simply not going to have time to do other things. I know that many people say, well, we have time and we should be doing everything, all kind of laws. No. Best you can say that I can focus on this law now, I can focus on these ideas now. Next month or next time I will focus on something else. Unfortunately, they're not realizing that for the past, year now, they're focusing on the integration debate that only affects a very small amount of people in Denmark. We're talking about less than 10% if we include the whole immigrant background population. Not to talk about the burqa ban, which from what I heard was 100 people or 8, I'm not really sure about the numbers exactly, but still, that's just sad.
No one is.
And I'm looking at some worrying numbers that nobody talks about. There is 5% chance for the Paris Agreement to be successful, to stop the warming of the planet with 2 degrees, right? 2 degrees is the maximum point of us as humans to be able to continue. After 2 degrees, it's going to become quite interesting to live in here. And we're talking only about 100 years from now. That's the 2 degrees. But another thing that they don't seem to notice is that this year, in the first 6 months, we had more extreme weather conditions than in the past 10 years together in 6 months. The second thing, in 12 years from now, we're entering the danger zone when agriculture, infrastructure and weather will be so deeply affected that there will be no chance that anyone will be saying, oh, there is no such thing as a climate change anymore. That will be just not possible because it will be too visible for everyone to be able to debate it away, you know.
So we are actually only focusing on one problem in Denmark, and everything else is...
That's the impression. Maybe it's not right. That's just my impression as an observer, not that I calculated, analyzed all the debates, and now I have the facts. This is not the fact.
I think you're right. Unfortunately, I think you're right. Why do you think this is? Also, you mentioned England focusing on Brexit. Why do you think we only in many European countries
not just
focus only on one thing? It could be Brexit in England. Here it's burqa right now. It's something else next month. And in many other countries there are different problems.
Yes.
Why do you think we only can handle one problem at a time?
Well, that's a good question.
Thank you.
No, because it's actually have to think on it. Well, I think it's first of all, politicians are humans as well, and obviously they cannot really handle more than another human could. They're not like superhumans in any way, so they will to be able to focus on more things. Right. But I think one thing that we seem to forget is that we get very emotional about certain topics, and when we get very emotional about certain topics, we always get drawn into it, and then we forget about everything else. Your mind simply just goes there. So I feel like we have certain topics in different countries that really connect to you emotionally, unfortunately, as politicians included, and that kind of overturns anything else. Like, let's say you had an idea today to discuss about plastic, right? The plastic ban in Denmark, or taking cars off the streets in 3 years, let's say. But then you go into the discussions and then you notice everyone speaking about integration debate, and then somehow you also have like a strong opinion about it, and then you like get drawn into it and you forgot about the other thing.
But don't you? You could be seeing. You could see it in another way. You could say that the debate is maybe about integration, but the politicians are, in the meanwhile, actually working on many things, and they are
hopefully.
in every. Yeah, hopefully. But don't you think it's just the debate? It's only the debate is populistic, and therefore it's what's on the front page of the newspapers right now. That's the populistic public debate, and then the politicians are working on something else. Could that be the issue?
I'm not sure if politicians talk about something else, but they also are opinion makers. So if politicians agree with each other, look, we all have one problem, which is climate change. Like the old politicians, like Churchill from the 70 years ago, they will just come and they will come and say, look, we have this problem. Climate change is real, it's right now, and we're going to have to take some tough decisions that you're not going to like. Most likely you're not going to vote for us again if we take those decisions, but this is what's going to happen. But many of them are scared to go into that, to tell people the truth about what's coming, so they just let people entertain themselves. It's almost like Rome, when you had politicians to have peace of mind. They had this circus where you just give people bread and circus, let them have their fun while you do all the things that they may not like.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to actually think that this whole debate is just a distraction to keep people unfocused on the things that might actually start some really honest debates, not just about our future, but also about the role of the politicians in this future. Are national politicians able to really do something about what's coming? Or should we start thinking, well, maybe it's time to consider that national politicians are not the most equipped for that. Maybe it's time to consider that local politicians, in a collaboration with European politicians, could have a better input. Maybe national politicians are just doing these debates because they have this feeling of self-preserving themselves, so they don't disappear from existence. I don't know. This is an open question, obviously, not something I'm saying.
Interesting to hear from an outsider looking into Denmark and watching this
Denmark.
problem on the not just Denmark,
all
but
the
here it's
countries.
all the countries. So nice to hear from you, and I know you are going to debate now, so you have to run again. But actually nice to hear, and also for us, I hope. Maybe it's a wake-up call.
Yeah, that's what's important.
Yeah, that's important. Not a wake-up call in spite of we're talking about climate, because I think actually Denmark is in many ways leading partner in climate, but a wake-up call in the political debate, that we are not going to talk about only one problem. That we have to remember to take all the things we have. We used to be good at that in Denmark. I have many different debates at the same time, and maybe you're actually right that we right now only have one.
Well, thank you for the time,
sure.
And I'm looking forward to see that you can start this. You're an opinion maker. If you start discussing about climate and try to challenge the politicians to answer to you, what's with this? Are you willing to say that in 3 years there will be no more cars or diesel cars on the streets of Denmark? Are you willing to take that political decision?
I actually think maybe it's not so widely spread here on the Folkemødet, but I actually think that climate is a big issue in Denmark. We have political parties. We have now Venstre on the right side of the blue side of the politics, talking about the green issues and so on. I think actually in Denmark we are a climate country. We are into this climate, but what interests me. What?
It's not the main focus. They're not discussing actively about it. I think they could do more. I think Denmark is leading, true, but it has a huge potential to do more.
maybe.
Like take the hard decisions that no other country has the guts to do it now. And then the others will follow, hopefully. So instead of Denmark being a follower, Denmark can become a leader in Europe. A leader that others look for. How should we go forward with our progress towards, saving this generation? Because I want to be able to know that if I buy a house in 20 years, it will not be flooded. Because I don't know where I'm buying it, and I have to be careful. Will this be underwater or not? I don't know. I have to be. Should I start a family? Should I have children? I don't know. Will they have a future? What future will they have in such a planet where it seems almost too dangerous to even fly because of the extreme weather conditions? That's the questions, and a lot of young people around me are a bit apathetic, are giving up a bit because of this. Because they feel like the politicians are not really talking about what they want, what the young people want to hear, and then they get tired of listening to politics, and then they become depoliticized, not just here but in every other country, and then you wonder why they're not going to vote, right? Why they're not participating in democracy. And then the few that have an interest in us not participating in democracy manage to take decisions that will benefit them. So basically we are assisting in a way at dangerous times for democracies, to be honest. Yeah. Because of this, I'm not sure if what's happening, but somehow we're becoming less and less political, and that's not good. To have a democracy, we need to be political. We need to have opinion, we need to participate in democracies. But that was my...
Yeah, but it's a nice view, and now it's sent out to everyone here, and I hope also some politicals will listen, mostly about this issue with only have one political issue in the debates. That's actually the biggest problem, I think. Then you can handle
many other.
Then you can act on everything. But we need to discuss many things in the same time.
Yeah, with equal importance.
Yeah. I agree. So thank you for your input.
Thank you very much.
That was very nice. You can just leave the microphone
with
you. Thank you.
And good luck with the marathon.
Yeah, thank you.